Hey guys, welcome back to part 2. So, our core pit is ready. I can show you guys, there you go, nice and close. So that's what it looks like. As you can see, there's a little bit of moisture at the bottom there, but it's basically absorbed almost all that water. I added a little bit more in, so I did need to have about 4.5 litres as suggested. But that's pretty much done. Now, I'm not going to use my gloves because I'm going to ruin them, so you guys are going to see me get my hands dirty. So before we put that in here, let me show you guys my worms. Now, also, if you've got any sort of cardboard material that they come in, usually they come in recyclable material. If you buy a commercial worm farm such as this, you usually will get a brick as well, like this, but it'll come in a recyclable material. Make sure if you get anything that's cardboard, make sure you keep that cardboard, because again, you can line it for that bottom layer. It's very handy to have that. So don't waste anything that's a paper or cardboard material, because you can definitely use that and recycle it, so keep that in mind. Anything plastic like this, throw it away, but anything cardboard, make sure you keep it, because you will definitely need to keep topping up with cardboard and newspaper, so make sure you guys collect your newspapers, and you'll definitely need to keep putting that in there for the bedding to keep it like sort of moist and adding water content. And also it helps the worms, as I said, they don't have teeth, so it helps the worms contest with that moisture level inside the bedding. So when you add the fruit or vegetable matter, it will create quite a bit of moisture, especially considering the worms will break it down basically, as that's how they eat their food. Now they will also move through the worm farm freely, and that's also how they will consume their food, and of course worm castings as well. So if you want them to only poop on one side, you can obviously have the food in one area of the bin. You can have one side free for them to freely move around and have that organic matter only, and then one side with the food matter. Also, you can add something else on top of it to have some dry matter. You can have crushed eggshells inside, which helps the worms get a bit of grit, because it helps them digest their food. Now you want to make sure you've boiled those or roasted them, and made sure that everything is clean, and there's no chance of them getting any issues in the worm farm, because you don't want to have any bacteria or unnecessary stuff in that worm farm to contaminate it basically. You can also use a purchased product such as pea straw mulch, which I have. Anything that's an organic matter, most things that are organic matters that haven't got any added pesticides, make sure there's nothing added in it. Make sure when you go into your local garden store or Bunnings that you ask them what organic matter they have specifically for worm composting. They should have that already there. But I also like to add a bit of pea straw mulch just on the top. It's really great for retaining moisture, and the worms will chew through that, and it is completely organic, 100%. So it's really great for that as well. Now, I'm going to show you the worms. They do come in a cardboard container, as you guys can see, or cardboard box I should say. So, again, if you are squirmish, this is pretty much the one and only time you'll need to really handle the worms, which even now you don't have to really, but I like to check my worms before I put them in. And then you won't have to do that again until you are actually using that compost and changing over everything. So right now, let's take the worms out, get them prepared. So I'm going to keep this cardboard box, and I'm going to recycle this into the worm farm later on. So I'm going to put that down there, leave that there. So as you guys can see, this is an example of what they look like. Now, again, this was bought at my local Bunnings. Now, most places, especially if you get them from a specified worm farming store or online, they will come in recyclable materials. They won't normally come in a plastic bag, because plastic is usually not very good for worms. So, let's have a look real quick. Let's see. I can show you guys some wormies. Again, this is my first time looking at this myself. So as you can see, now this wasn't kept in the greatest conditions. So you can see it's gathered a bit of moisture in there. It is moist, but it's also kind of gathered a bit too much at times, because obviously this hasn't been disturbed for a while. Now you can buy these off the shelf. They are shelved at your local Bunnings store, like I said. You can buy these, and you can leave them up to about a week. It says 2 weeks, but honestly I wouldn't keep the worms in these living conditions for more than that. Even if you do buy them off the shelf, when I bought this packet I had to search through, because most of them had basically formed what was rotten material, rotten organic matter, because it had been in there too long, and they obviously aren't taken care of in the way that they need to be. So even if you buy eggs, eggs are a little bit more resilient, than the actual live mature worms, because they would just last a bit longer. They don't need those conditions, but the larger mature worms will try and feed, and they won't feel comfortable to breed, so they will basically just sort of shut down and sort of go dormant. And you don't want to have that happen, because then they'll stop feeding and then eventually they will die. So you want to make sure, like I said, that you usually use this almost immediately after you get it, but you can have it for up until a week. Now in here, I just want to have a look real quick. There is lots of organic matter in here. There's definitely some castings. I'm just trying to see if there are any eggs so I can show you guys, because that would be really fantastic if I could see some find some eggs for you. Yeah, it's got that lovely like soil smell. Okay, there are eggs. Okay, wait, I found one, guys. I found one for you. Okay, here's an example of what a worm egg looks like. I don't know if I can show you this, but let me just put the worms down for a second. I'm going to be very, there we go, very delicate with this, so you don't want to damage it. But I want to show you guys what a worm egg looks like. Now all of them are different, obviously you've got 5 different species, but let's see if you guys can see that. Can you see that? I don't want to damage it. Let's see if I can get it zoomed in. I don't think it's going to focus. I'll put it on my palm there. So that's how tiny it is. But this, can you see the colour? It's yellow. So that's your standard. And these would be red wriggler eggs, I'm assuming, because your standard red wrigglers have the yellow eggs. And there is, yeah, that's a worm egg right there. So there you go, guys. Got to show you that. I was going to show you that once we were more established, but hey, there you go. So that's another great thing about buying established mature aged worms as opposed to the worm eggs. But that's what it'll look like if you buy worm eggs. Also, if you buy worm eggs, I would get double the amount you got prior, because again, it will take longer, much longer for them to build up whatever you want, whatever time limit you want it to go by. So if you have 500 to start with, like I did, and you want to build it just as quick, you want to try and get maybe 1,000 worm eggs, composting worm eggs. So that's what it looks like. So I'm going to chuck this guy right in here. There you go, at the bottom. Now, this has plenty of organic matter, as you can see. Now, let me just move that around a bit. Let's see what we've got in here. Let's see, I'm trying to see what... Alright, so that was, this was some sort of organic, I'm assuming vegetable matter, but it could just be a fibrous material, organic fiber, similar to coconut, but it's not coconut, peat moss. So we'll put that back in. Now I don't see any, I don't see much organic material in here. So if there was organic material such as fruit or veg in here, the worms have definitely gone through it. Let's see if we can get a worm out for you. There we go. So let's get this guy, dust him off a bit. So here you guys can see, let me just get all his dirt off. This is a red wriggler. So this was the, I think this is a red wriggler, but this would be the, I think he is. So this is what the worm egg came from. So this is this guy over here. Now normally, like I said, there are 5 species that can do this. Not all worms will be composting worms. You have to have specific worms. But there it is. You see that? There you go. There you go. So yeah, you can tell by the tip there. See that tip? That red tip right there. But, oh, he says hello. Hey guys. He's saying hi. Or she. Looking for food. So yeah, you guys want to make sure that they are always kept. Now with worms, you'll see if they're in good conditions, they'll be somewhat moist. They won't be dry, but they won't be wet either. And you'll know when you get your worm farm going, you will know if the worms are happy or they're uncomfortable. If there's too much moisture and condensation in there, you'll see it first of all on your top rim of the worm farm. Make sure you don't have any. If you see the moisture and condensation, you want to make sure you put some more dry matter in there. Put some more newspaper, mix it up a bit. Leave a little bit sprinkled on the top, or pea straw mulch. You will see if it's too moist. If it's too dry and it's not damp enough, you can add a bit more water content on there. Again, I'll show you guys with the water. Now let me put him back in, or her. Look at that, that's a beautiful worm, eh? Look at that. And I'm pretty sure it's secreted on me. Lovely. I'm pretty sure it's, yeah. He's pooped his pants, guys, literally. But anyway, we're going to put that back there. Fabulous. Alright, now that I'm nice and really dirty, let's get into the, let me like put these guys here real quick, and let's get into the bedding process. So, like I said, this core fiber is ready to go. Now we're gonna mix this up really quick. I'm gonna quickly wash my hands, and we're gonna finish this off with a part 3 on this upload. So I hope you guys are enjoying it, and I'll be back shortly, and I'll see you guys soon. Make sure you click on the next one.